circumstances, 6 bullets get the job done.
Sorry, that's really not a very persuasive argument. In point of fact, you fell into just such a circumstance. To be perfectly frank, wouldn't you admit that your reason for carrying a revolver is based merely on your personal preferences?
Well, I wouldn't say...
Your answer, sir. Yes or no?
Is it personal preference? No, it's not.
Let me ask one more question then. According to the reports that we have, you apparently spent a great deal of your time practicing at the target range during work hours. Is it possible that deep down you view the act of firing your weapon as a form of entertainment?
Objection. The question of whether his target practice was done out of personal interest is nothing more than conjecture by the defense. It's simply a baseless assertion.
Objection sustained. Defense counsel will limit his questions to facts directly relating to the case at hand.
Yes, Your Honor. Let's move on. Now then, Mr. Tokusa, I'd like to be sure of something. The last time you fired at Mr. Izumi,
Yes.
you spoke to him. Do you remember what it was that you said? If you don't recall, allow me to refresh your memory. You shouted at Mr. Izumi, asking him, and I quote, "Do you want me to kill you?" This would appear to be a clear indication that the option of killing the suspect was included among the possible responses you were considering. Isn't that why you said it?
Are you kidding? All you're doing is twisting my words to mean whatever you want.
The witness will remain seated on the stand.
In fact, you shot the joints of all 4 of Mr.
Give it
Izumi's...
a rest, will ya? Yeah, I shot the suspect. We know that, all right? But it was to save the life of the woman he was trying to kill.
It seems to me that you don't feel the least bit of remorse over this.
We weren't talking about that. Keep on track.
The witness will take his seat.
But, Your Honor, I was just...
Sit down now.
Well, Major, how's he doing in there so far?
Getting pretty hot under the collar. That lawyer's better than I expected.
Yeah, but Togusa isn't the one who's supposed to be on trial here.
It seemed to be headed that way just before the judge called a recess.
Encrypted transmissions?
No can do. He's running in autistic mode.
He didn't catch your hint back at the visitation room, I take it.
He may be naive, but Togusa's no fool. He caught on that we could talk on an encrypted channel.
Do you think this means that he won't use any underhanded tricks in the courthouse?
This isn't good. He stopped looking in our direction when the trial got underway.
I'll do some digging into the defendant's background.
Major, you're going to remain here and watch the trial for now. I'll go back to HQ for the time being.
Understood.
I believe that Mr. Togusa intended to kill my client. Pay attention now. Mr. Togusa had this to say in his deposition. When I faced the defendant, I concluded at first glance that the man had a full prosthetic body. This statement that was made by the witness is in direct violation of the Prosthetic Body Discrimination Act. Accordingly, this leads me to believe that the overzealous discharge of his weapon is also the result of his prejudice against cyborgs such as my client.
Objection. Your Honor, the Prosthetic Body Discrimination Act has absolutely no bearing on this case whatsoever.
Objection sustained. Defense counsel will base its counter-arguments on concrete facts, not supposition.
Yes, Your Honor. At this juncture, I would like to begin offering an explanation for Mr. Togusa's specific actions after first discussing his unique workplace. He's employed by Public Security Section 9, a special organization comprised almost entirely of members with heavily reinforced prosthetic bodies. Mr. Togusa is subjected to prolonged stress in a work environment where he's surrounded by cyborgs. I'm forced to conclude that because of this, he came to develop a subconscious inferiority complex and mental bias against people with prosthetics. As a result, this incident provided an outlet for those pent-up negative attitudes.
Objection. This is also pure speculation on the part of the counsel, Your Honor.
Objection sustained.
Chief, I found something interesting in the defendant's terminal. A list of contents of illegal...